Here we go, round 2, decision making and ownership. And if you were lucky enough to be part of the very few people that saw the last one, the last unedited one, then this will be the same. One take, one cut, no edits, no polish, and this will be about decision making and ownership. Ultimately, where we are in life, every single person is down to the decisions they have either made or not made. And if you think about that for a minute, instead of trying to blame other people or other things, take ownership of it, about the decisions that you have and haven't made over the years. That's exactly why you are where you are today. And that's quite liberating. So, how do I make decisions? I've spent the majority of my life working in high risk, high consequence arenas, making big decisions on the hoof that could potentially have catastrophic or fatal results. And so I do have a process of being able to make those decisions quickly and effectively. And if you look at the majority of unknowns and uncertainty in the world and unhappiness, a lot of it comes down to the fact that people cannot make decisions, and when they do eventually get to making a decision, then they regret the decision that they made. So first of all, you need to get out of the denial and deliberation phase of where you actually are. You need to get to the root of the problem that you're trying to make a decision on. So get out of denial and deliberation and get to decision making. Now that bit really is as simple as sitting down with a pen and a bit of paper and getting to the root cause. I'm not talking about the symptoms. I'm not talking about that you don't have money or that you don't have this thing or you don't have that. These are symptoms. The actual problem is what you need to work out. So sit down and write that down, get to the root cause. Once you've got the root cause of the problem, then we can better start making decisions. Whew. Walking and talking at this height is not easy. So the way I make decisions is if the decision is reversible, so that means if I make a decision and it's not the right one, then I'll go back the way. Then I can make that intuitively, so I can use my gut feeling to make that decision. So if it's irreversible, then I'm going to use intuition until I can gain facts and make an analytical decision. If the decision's irreversible or fatal or has huge consequence, then I'm going to use more analytical. I'm going to get more facts before I make a decision. But either way, once I've got that information, I'm still going to make a decision. I'm going to make it quickly. I'm also not going to be wed to that decision. Now, you can make a good decision and have a poor outcome, and you can make a poor decision and have a great outcome. Think about running red lights, not getting T-boned. It's a bad decision with a good outcome. The only way we can make sure we're making good decisions is to go back and analyze them. Every time we've made a decision and we've had a good or bad outcome, go back and analyze it. Was it a good decision and it was just bad luck? Or was it a bad decision and it had good luck? So there's a couple of options there, but either way, don't get wrapped up in denial and deliberation. Get to the point of making a decision quickly, write it down, get to the root cause of your issue that you're trying to solve, and then either use intuitive or analytical abilities to make the decision. Another way that I do is I write down, get to the root cause of the problem, write it down, and then turn over the bit of paper, leave it alone, and then go for a walk, Go do something, go to the gym, do something that's active, do something that's it's taking your mind off it, and then I let my subconscious mind work on the problem. And if you've never done this before, think about it this way: your subconscious mind is way more powerful than your conscious mind, and it doesn't let logic and reason stand in the way. So it can think creatively, it can think outside the box, you know, you can think left field ideas and come up with great solutions. So write the problem down, go do some phys, go for a run, hit the gym, go have a cold shower, whatever, go for a walk with the family, and then come back in, turn the paper over, and then just write down the top 3 solutions that come to your head for that problem. And usually it will be the first one you write down, and more than likely it will be the simplest of all of them, because complexity breeds failure in almost all walks of life. So that's it, decision making 101. It's pretty easy. What I'd say is just start being aware of the decisions you are making. Once you've made a decision, you need to own it. Own that decision, good or bad, and basically tell yourself that you made that decision with all of the resources that you had at that time, and under the stress and pressure that you had at that time as well. So own the decision. That brings me on to quickly ownership 101. So there's a big difference between responsibility, between accountability and ownership. Responsibility is something that's basically in your job description. I am an expedition leader, therefore X. That is my responsibility to get that thing done. Accountability, usually after the fact, you can be held accountable by other people for your performance, and that is completely out of your hands. Or there's the third option, and that's ownership. That's owning the position that you are in life, regardless of whether you were aware of the decisions you were making or not, or whether things have happened to you that have put you in that put you in that place. When you start to take ownership over where you are in life, it starts to give you freedom. And ownership and discipline blended together give you the ultimate freedom. How many people do we know that blame the weather, that blame politics, that blame partners, that blame their kids for not doing and not achieving? And ultimately, that's bullshit. That's leaving everything on the table. Ownership is a state of mind. Taking ownership of your situation allows you to make better informed decisions. It allows you to take charge of your situation, and it gives you optionality when things go tits up. So ultimately, ownership is about mindset. It's about taking charge of your own decisions. It's about taking charge of your own life. It's not blame. You're moving from blame culture, which is prevalent across the world, everywhere. Just look at politics, finger pointing and blame instead of ownership. Moving to aim. You're moving to try and aim your ship, aim your arrow in the direction that you want it to go. So that's it. Whew. That is my 10 minutes of decision making and ownership 101. But ultimately, remember, with decisions, you can never ever be 100% sure. And if someone says they're 100% sure, that's absolute bullshit. You can make a very well informed decision, and you can have the worst possible luck at that time. So just remember, you can't ever be sure. A good exercise is to start thinking in percentages. How sure am I that this slope is going to avalanche? Well, I'm not. 10%, 20%. How sure am I that this relationship is going to work out? I'm not. 50%. So that gives you a bit of freedom. And remember, mixing ownership with discipline is the ultimate freedom tool. Aldo out.